Tubers, dubettes, crazy people. I think we can agree that war has many casualties. And when I think of casualties of war, I think of the battlefield. I think of the brave young men and women that lose their lives or they become severely disabled, either physically or emotionally or both. But one of the casualties of war here in the Philippines during the Vietnam era was that of forgotten children. And that was from servicemen being here on leave, spending a couple of weeks, getting back on the ship, going back to duty, and unbeknownst to them, they left behind a child. And that child grew up never knowing, but always wondering, who's my father? The video you're about to see is different. This is about a man who, while he was here on leave, met a woman, fell in love, had a child, and was around to actually not only marry the woman, but to sign the birth certificate and see the birth of his daughter. I'm not going to give away the rest of the story. I'll let the video speak for itself. Okay, well, I am going to be primarily talking to the lovely young lady in the middle here, which is Rosie. And Rosie, who's that handsome guy to your right?
This is my grandfather, Michael Emmanuel Robinson.
Awesome.
Yes.
And who is the stunningly gorgeous woman to your left?
This is my mother, the daughter of Michael Robinson.
Isn't that something? And so it's come to my attention, this is the story. So I'm going to tell a little story here, and then we can validate it with some stuff that we have in front of us, okay?
Yes, please.
Here's the long and the short of it. Michael came to the Philippines with the Navy, and in 1967 was on leave. He met Michelle's mother, Teresa. They fell in love. They spent time together, and they were married. And then Michael was shipped out, and he went to various countries during the Vietnam War. He is a Vietnam U.S. Navy vet. And while he was on board ship, he was injured on board. A sea hatch closed on his head. He then was medevaced to the Philippines, received medical treatment, and then was shipped back to America. Have I got it correct?
Yes, bro.
I'm trying to
Yes,
keep
sir.
the timeline here in my head. So that's the situation. Michael was in the hospital for a number of months. Am I correct, sir? Okay. And he was writing love letters to Teresa, God rest her soul, and inquiring about their daughter. He actually was here for the birth of his daughter because he signed the birth certificate.
Yes.
So it wasn't a weekend love affair. This was an ongoing, committed relationship.
Yes.
Two people in love with each other and planned to spend their life together. His plan originally was to, of course, bring her back to America as soon as possible. But the real problem here was when he got injured on board the ship. Hit him on the noodle. He was out of communication with the mother while he was in the hospital for a couple of months. Have I got the timeline right?
Yes, bro.
Okay. So now that he's been injured, he couldn't communicate with them. And due to reasons I'm not clear on, Teresa and Michelle moved and had a new address. And out here, addresses are fairly vague.
Yes, sir.
There's no street addresses or anything. And so in 1969, our Vietnam veteran, Michael here, contacted the Red Cross. And the Red Cross told him what?
They told them that they vanished in the typhoon those
Wow.
years.
So 2 years after all of this, he's finally up. He's ready to step up to the plate. He's ready to bring the family
Yes, sir.
back to America. Contacts the Red Cross, and they told him that they were
Vanished.
vanished in a typhoon, when in fact they were another city over doing just fine.
Yes, sir.
So how in the world, 50 years later, 55 years later,
55 years later, sir.
did Michael, was Michael reunited with Michelle, his long lost daughter?
Yes,
Can you
sir.
help me with this?
I cannot, sir, how do I say this? I started to cry.
I understand.
We've been like looking for him for the longest time. But it was just like the correct people to be like the one to be like helping. And, it was just like they keep like passing it with different, how do I say this, sir? Different, how do I say that? Like,
Kind of like different departments.
Yes, sir.
You call one guy, they say, well, we don't handle that. Call this number.
Yes,
Did you get that routine? Okay.
And that was like happened, sir. And way back in 2015, sir, there's like an American group in Facebook that we contacted. I don't know if it's Sir Paul. I know, Sir Paul. And he was like asking information about him. And they found the information of him. And they sent it us like, I still have those information in here.
Sure.
Yes.
Let's see. Got a whole notebook.
Yes.
This has been a
and
lifelong
this is like
mission for you
the
guys.
national personal information.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 2015, and it's like addressing that they are like asking more, but you're just like giving those information that's you only have because you cannot trust easily. So they were just like they just like send this. It was like yes, sir, the sales information, which is like they like checked it.
And what did this do?
So they have been like knew that they have these records and everything, but they didn't tell where he's like living.
So you knew he was around.
Yes.
You knew you got some information on him, but you really still didn't have any way to contact him.
Yes, po.
And I think somebody stepped in on your behalf because you watched a video.
Yes.
Tell
and
the audience about what happened.
it was like 8 months ago when actually I was like scrolling, sir. It was like middle of the night. I was just like and I'm ready to bed, and then the YouTube like channel was like appeared as like American Filipina looking for a father. I was like, okay, and it was in Naga.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was just okay. So I was just like click the video. So it was just like Sir Blair was like, I found it like Leia and Blair's log. So Sir Blair was like roaming around in Naga.
Let me clarify that. It's Leia.
The Leia and Blair's log.
Leia and Blair Slog.
Yes.
Not blog, slog.
Slog, yeah,
Okay.
slog, yes.
And they had reunited somebody with their birth father, correct?
Yes.
And you saw that video.
Yes, po.
So you contacted.
Yeah, I contact Sir Blair by the comment section. I said like, hi, I'm Rosie, and I have like my mother is looking for her father for the longest time, and I hope, sir, we can communicate about it.
Okay.
Yes, and after like a day and like Sir Blair was said like, he was like replying to my comment section and said like, can you contact me through Facebook? So I did. And it was just like, it was like the story.
And so the good news is you guys have this entire notebook of birth certificates, marriage licenses, names, and
Affidavit of
Blair
support.
went to work for how many weeks trying to hunt down the right Michael Robinson?
Yes,
you remember how long?
It was like 2 weeks, sir, right? Yes,
2 weeks of hunting through every Michael Robinson
Yes.
on Facebook.
Yes,
Talk
sir.
about dedication.
Yes,
so
sir.
shout out to the Leia and Blair slog, which we'll put a link to, and they can watch the reunion on their channel. We're going to make sure that happens. And so it's remarkable that this came about. Just think of the odds on this. You happen to be on YouTube.
Yes.
You happen to come across a video
Yes.
of finding a father that had been in the military.
Yes.
And they had brought those people together. You just happened to see, you made a comment
Yes.
on the video. They replied to the comment, and here we are today, and you're reunited with your grandfather.
Yes, sir.
Michelle is reunited with her father, And her father, a war veteran, God bless you for your service, sir, is finally come and got closure on his daughter. That you must have thought about her. I know we don't have you mic'd up, but you must have thought about her every day because you knew she was born, you knew she was alive, but you were under
I
the...
had to let that go because they told me she was dead.
Yeah, what he said was he had to let that go because they told her, the Red Cross had misinformed him that she had perished in a typhoon. And yet, you hadn't perished.
Yeah. Keep living, sir.
And so what was the reunion like? What was the emotions like? You're going to need to speak for Michael, because if you can, or maybe pass the mic over to him. And Michael, how did you feel when you met your daughter?
I was mixed emotions. I was tired. I was glad that search was over.
You were tired and you were glad that search was over.
22 hours in the air getting her.
And how old are you, sir?
74.
74 years young. And you spent all that time in the airplane, 22 hours, to come over here to finally be reunited with his daughter. And I know, Michelle, English is not your first language, so maybe Rosa, you can help me out a little bit.
Yes, Bob.
What was Michelle's emotional state of mind when she met her father?
How do you feel, ma? It was like mixed emotions, sir.
Mixed emotions.
And I myself too. I was joking also. I won't cry. I mean, it was just like when it came outside, I said, "Oh my God, I cannot hold tears."
So, were you the only one that cried, or did everybody cry?
Everybody.
Everybody cried.
So it's not good. Everyone is crying, sir.
And this reunion,
Yeah.
if I understand this correctly, was actually videotaped.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm going to put a link in the description box of this video, and directly to that video that shows where our Vietnam veteran and his offspring were reunited. And you know who I'm proud of here? I'm proud of all of you. I mean, I am proud to say that I know you because you kept everything organized and recorded. And there's a problem right now because of the birth certificate.
Yeah.
You cannot, Michelle cannot get a passport.
Yes, sir.
For what I understand from talking with Blair is that the birth certificate states that she was born on a U.S. naval base. And that makes her an American citizen. And yet, she's been born in the Philippines, always lived in the Philippines, never left the Philippines, and they won't give her a Filipino passport. And America won't give her an American passport. So there's going to be an appointment, I believe, at the embassy to try to get this straightened out. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm thinking with all of the energy and the effort that you guys have put into this so far, you don't strike me as the type of people that will drop the ball 10 yards away from touchdown. Okay. So, we'll do a little, I'll make a couple of calls myself to the embassy, see if I can figure out a easier way for you to make this happen. We never promise anything. I like to under-promise and over-deliver. But I'll do my level best to see if we can help you guys get through that process. Where is the end game? Michael, do you still want to have your daughter come to America with you?
No, I'm old and retired. So
You're old and retired. I understand.
Best thing to do, take my veterans benefits, move them here.
Okay.
My dollar was what.
So Michael's not mic'd up, and he speaks very low, which is awesome. But what he said is he wants to have his benefits set up so that they can be received by his daughter, who is entitled to them. And so that's the goal here, is that she is left with something for her future.
Yeah.
And you know, that just speaks volumes to Michael and the type of character that you are. You're someone that I am proud to know, to say that I've met you. First of all, you served your country. When you fell in love, you were misinformed. You were a little let down by the system. And yet, when you got the phone call that your daughter was indeed alive, you got on a plane at your age and flew 22 hours to meet her. And I think that just speaks volumes for everybody here at this table. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link to the video of the reunion. And I know I did most of the talking here. But we've had our complications with getting this set up.
Yes,
and I want to thank you all for coming with me today.
Yeah, thank you more, sir.
Thank you.
We will, oh, it's my pleasure, sir. I really want to get this story out there because maybe through this channel, linking them up with Leah and Blair's slog, we can get more people reunited with their American fathers.
Yes.
So, and I'm sure there's a lot of fathers out there that would like to make that same connection. And I know that there's plenty of daughters and sons over here that want to know who their birth father is.
Yes, sir.
And so we'll keep a close eye on this, and we'll be following Leah and Blair's channel.
Yes,
and we're going to definitely, I'm going to say it for the third time because I know it's emotional. We're going to put a link in so that anybody watching this video so simply click the link and they can watch the reunion. I want to thank all of you for taking the time to come down and meet with me today.
Thank you.
It was
more,
an honor
sir.
and a privilege to meet all of you.
Thank you.
And all I can say at this point in time is God bless.
Thank you, and God
All
bless,
right,
sir.
we'll see you
Hallelujah.
guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome.